So let's talk about the setting of the story. The story took place at a small village of Havana in Cuba. There was no exact time mentioned in the novella, but Santiago and Madeline talk about the baseball player named Joe DiMaggio, who was an actual player in the 1950s. Also, from the title, we can infer that the main action took place in the sea since it's entitled The Old Man and the Sea. So, geographically, Cuba is a Caribbean island where fishing is the main source of income of the people there. Now, we can talk about the plot of the story. The story opens with Santiago having gone 84 days without catching fishes and now being seen as salaw, which means salty. Salaw is used in this context of Santiago being so unlucky. Because of this, Manolin, his young apprentice, has been forbidden by his parents to sail with him. So, yung apprentice niya is pinagbawalan siya nung parents niya na makisail, sumama kay Santiago kasi nga ang laki daw siya, hindi daw siya maswerte sa pangingisda. Hindi na siya maswerte sa pangingisda. And told him to go with other successful fishermen instead. But since Manolin cares for Santiago, hindi niya siya iniwan and stayed with Santiago. So, on the 85th day, Manolin helped Santiago launch his boat into the sea. He rows over the deep well where he has been trying to catch fish for the past weeks. So, ayun. He then decided to try his luck further out. So, umalis siya. Yung dati niyang pinangingisdaan, mas lumayo siya doon sa usual niyang pinupuntahan para mangisda. And then, makalipas ng ilang oras, Santiago feels a hard pull on his line and realizes that a vast marlin has caught his hook. So, ayun na. Pero hindi niya kinaya yung marlin kasi sobrang laki nito and since old na si Santiago, hindi niya na rin kinakayang i-pull out yung marlin. So, nagpahila na lang siya dun sa marlin for 3 days. The fish spends 3 days towing him out to sea instead, which made him so exhausted, pati na rin yung marlin is pagod na. So, nagpaikot-ikot yung marlin, and then doon nag-decide yung si Santiago na patayin na lang si marlin. Kahit na mas gusto niya talagang iuwi yun ng buhay kasi nga, of his pride. Pero in the end, pinatay niya pa rin yung marlin kasi hindi niya na kaya. So, after that, tinali ni Santiago yung marlin sa kanyang skiff. Yung skiff is yung boat niya. Yung worst part doon is, since may dugo yung marlin, nag-attract yun ng sharks papunta sa kanyang skiff. And yun na yun, kinain nung mga sharks yung marlin. Pero syempre, hindi nagpadaig si Santiago and he even fought desperately. But eventually, the sharks won and only the bones of the marlin were left with Santiago. So, kahit sad na siya, kahit pagod na siya, he still managed to sail back to his land. So, the next morning, yung very worried ng si Manolin kay Santiago is, hinanap niya yung si Santiago with the authority na rin. And yung si Manolin, nung next morning, di ba, nakita niya yung boat ni Santiago and pumunta siya kaagad dun sa shack or dun sa bahay-bahay ni Santiago. He even cried and ordered coffee for him para kay Santiago. So, yung nag-end yung story nung kay Santiago na natutulog, which is yung usual niya ginagawa. And panaginip niya is yung favorite lions niya sa Sea of Africa. Of course, under the gaze of his loving apprentice, Manolin. So, that's the end of the story. So, from there, we can conclude the 3 conflicts. One is Santiago versus himself. We know that Santiago is old, diba? But his pride drives him to still go for fishing kahit na 84 days nang wala siyang nakukuhang isda. Next is him and the society. So Santiago does not socialize well, probably because of his pride na rin, kasi during his prime years, he was called the El Campeon or the champion for defeating an African guy with his fist. Yun yung natalo niya yung African guy, yung dun sa baka, alam niyo yun, yung kamay, yung ginagamit. So, 24 hours silang naglaban nun and nanalo dun si Santiago. Ito yung ano niya, yung thoughts niya dun and yung line niya dun sa novela. Sabi niya, a man can be destroyed but can never be defeated. And lastly is the main conflict of the story, which is Santiago and the nature. So from the title pa lang, The Old Woman and the Sea, alam na natin na may nature talagang involved, which is the sea. He struggled to caught fishes, diba? Kahit nung nakuha niya yung marlin, nag-struggle pa rin siya. He loves fishing, but he also loves fishes too. Ito yung medyo ironic kasi gusto niyang mangisda. He's a fisherman, pero ayaw niyang ma-hurt yung fishes kasi yun daw yung friends niya. Ito rin yung kinuha kong line para ma-prove na nagpakita siya ng remorse or pagkaawa dun sa Marlin. Sabi niya, "Fish that you were, I am sorry that I went too far out. I ruined us both." So, ayun. Yun yung plot nung story. So, Hemingway wrote the novella in a third-person, omniscient point of view, which means that the narrator knows what the character is feeling, doing, etc. So, ito yung, kumuha rin ako ng example na line, which is, it refers to Manolin thoughts on Santiago when they were about to have a supper. So, sabi nung narrator dun, na thoughts ni Manolin is, "Where did you wash?" The boy thought. "The village water supply was 2 streets down the road. I must have water for him," the boy thought, "and soap and a good towel. Why am I so thoughtless?" So, that concludes my report. We'll now proceed to discussing the themes with Mr. Lumibao.